What's going on, Pixel Hackers? Christian Lovrecich from pixlfeed here. In this video, we're going to talk about my 10 smart market diagnosis and profiling questions. But before we get started, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive right in. All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about how I approach doing my audience research when it comes to copywriting, when I'm about to build a funnel for myself or for a client or whatever. So I actually learned this from Dan Kennedy. If you don't know who Dan Kennedy is one of the greatest marketers out there. So if you don't know who he is, I highly recommend you look him up because he's one of the best. So basically what it is, these are the 10 questions that you have to ask about your audience in order to figure out their pain points and how you're going to bring those pain points and how you're going to offer a solution to those pain points to make them take action on whatever you're going to offer them. This is also going to help you figure out what it is that you're going to offer it and how you're going to offer it. Okay, so let's go one by one. I'm going to explain it and let's go. All right, number one, the first thing you got to ask your audience is, or you got to figure out is, what keeps them, oh, that's 3 E's. I can never write, man. Awake at night. Okay, so you got to ask your audience. You got to get in their head. What keeps them awake at night? So let's use entrepreneurs as an example, because if you're watching this, you're most likely an entrepreneur or a marketer or a freelancer. Well, I know what used to keep me awake at night when I was getting started is I was afraid of not making it. All the stress of not making it. Am I going to be successful, right? That's a pain point that a lot of entrepreneurs have, right? Am I going to make it? So that's an example for that. Okay, number two, this ties in a little bit. What are they afraid of? Okay, so what are they afraid of? Well, obviously what keeps them awake at night is not making it, but a lot of entrepreneurs, they're afraid that their peers are going to make fun of them or their family is not going to accept the career choices that they're going to make, right? They're afraid of leaving their jobs and losing that income stability, right? And jumping into the pool or whatever you want to call it, without knowing what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to make money. So that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of making that jump, taking that leap of leaving their job and going all out on their own, especially if they have a family or something like that. So that will be my pain point for that, right? Next, 3, what are they angry about? Okay, there's a lot of angry people out there. I see the haters in my comments. I'm starting to get the hater comments, and usually when you get haters is because they're not happy with themselves. They're angry about something. So, most of what I see with entrepreneurs that are angry about is it's a lot of jealousy. They go on Instagram, they go on Facebook, and they see everybody showing off their cars, their houses, success. Everybody's selling, piles of cash, money. You see it in the ads, and they're angry about that they're not there yet, that they're not rich overnight, that they haven't become millionaires overnight. They don't realize it takes a lot of work to get there because everything's being thrown in their faces daily. So they're like, oh my God, I just became an entrepreneur. I should be a multimillionaire. And that's not how it works. So they're angry about that. There's an anger that comes from that. And sometimes that anger fuels success. So you can use that in your copy, right? All right, number 4. What are their 3 daily frustrations? Okay, so what will be their 3 daily frustrations? I would say, as an entrepreneur, I would say failure, right? Everybody's afraid of failure. Again, you guys see how it's all tying in? Failure. Rejection, that's one thing about being an entrepreneur. We deal with a lot of rejection, and even if you get used to being rejected, it still sucks when it happens, so you're kind of afraid of it. Rejection, right? And then lack of a stable income. When you're an entrepreneur, if you don't have a bunch of clients lined up or customers or whatever it is that you do, it depends what your business is as an entrepreneur, right? You're afraid of that lack of stable income. Especially if you're leaving your job, right? So I will use that to my advantage in my copy to try to hit those pain points as well, right? Okay, number 5. What trends are occurring in their business. So every business has a you know, a trend, or what trend occurs in their business or lives for that matter, right? So there's always a trend. For example, like the new trend is it's doing workshops, for like online coaches, business coaches or whatever. There's a new trend going on. It's been going on for a couple months. It's like, 30 days. We'll work with you 30 days one-on-one to help you build a funnel. I know ClickFunnels is doing that. Frank Kern was doing something about helping you get leads. 30 days. It's a 30-day program where he goes in live and helps you get leads. For 30 days, he holds your hand through it like a group of people. It's a private group. So that's the example that I've seen in the past couple months as far as like, helping entrepreneurs. That's a good one, right? Masterminds. So, you got to see what the trends are, and you do that by doing your research, right? So when you see those trends, if people are doing it, that means it's working, right? So if it's working, that's something you should be doing to sell that audience, right? Because if others are doing it that are more successful than you are, trust me, it's working, right? Number 6, this is a powerful one. What do they desire the most? So what do they secretly desire the most? So is it money? Be rich as an entrepreneur? Is it what you desire the most? You secretly desire the most? It's just money? Or could it be happiness? Do you want to just be happy? Or is it freedom of being able to do whatever you want, right? Those are secret desires because everybody's a little bit different. So, you got to hit those pain points, or you hit all 3. Hey, are you afraid you want freedom to do whatever you want and at the same time get rich? Well, you got to do this program that I'm putting right in front of you, or this product that I'm putting in front of you, right? I mean, that's the ghetto way of saying it, but you guys get the idea, right? 7, is there a built-in bias to the way they make decisions? What do I mean by that? Everybody's a little bit different, right? So let me give you an example. A lot of women are impulse buyers depending on the product. They're emotional beings. They don't think logically, they think emotionally. This has been proven by science, so don't go in the comments trying to hate on me. So, they're more likely to impulse purchase something online, right? Engineers, for example, are very analytical thinkers. They got to see everything laid out, and they have to really think about it and break down the pros and the cons before they make a decision. So entrepreneurs, some of us are analytical. Some of us will do, impulse actions. I know I've done both. So that's a kind of like tricky one when it comes to entrepreneurs. But think about it. If you're selling something to engineers, right? You got to lay it down in an analytical way, right? Because they want the facts down before they make a decision, right? If you're selling to a different audience, let's say just, moms or something, and it's something for their kids, it's something for their kid and that they need, right? Then it's most likely to be an impulse buy. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about this, when you're trying to find this out, right? Number 8, do they have their own language? So I don't care what industry is or what hobby is or whatever, we all have our little languages. Think about it. If you're a DJ in the music world, they all have their own lingo, right? Tracks, beats, whatever. If you're an entrepreneur, profit and loss, KPIs, CPA, right? If you're a hunter, I'm sure there's lingo in there. If you're a car guy, then you have your own lingo. So you got to go in there, whatever your audience is, you got to go to see how they talk. Go to forums, go to the groups, go to pages, read the comments, look at the lingo, the words that they're using, the lingo that they're using, the definitions for those words, right? So that's very, very important, because when you're laying down the copy in your funnel or your VSL, you want to talk their lingo. you want to sound like them, so they believe in you and they trust you, right? They trust your product, because if you're using that lingo, that means you know what you're talking about. You're an insider at that point. You're going from being an outsider to becoming an insider, right? So that's very, very important. You learn their language, right? All right. So 9. Who else is selling them something similar? But here's the kicker. And failed. Okay, so when you're doing research to whatever product is you're selling, a program or whatever it is, you gotta do your research on the competition, the top guys or the top people in that niche, and you gotta find out what type of products they try to put out and they fail. That's, you gotta do that by, this is gonna take time. You gotta search forums, you gotta search Facebook pages, you gotta use ad spy tools. Will tell you if there was, traction on their ads. You can't see the numbers, but you're gonna see, if you do search, if you do enough research, you'll see failed products out there, and people will talk about it. Just go on forums and ask, like, hey, have any of you bought this type of product? Who do you buy it from? And they'll tell you. Once you infiltrate the groups in the forums, people will tell you, they recommend your products, and they'll say, don't buy this one because this one sucks. And then once you do your research, you're gonna start seeing patterns on which ones are the winners that did well and which ones are the losers that didn't deliver what they promised. So that's a failure, right? You don't want to be a failure, so you want to make sure you don't do the same thing. Okay? And then last but not least is, who else tried to sell them a similar product to yours, and how they did it. Okay, very important. So this is what comes to reverse engineering the successful products out there. So if it's a website, you look at the website, you look at the layout of the product pages. If it's a funnel, you look at the funnel. Is it a 3-step funnel? You pay to go through that funnel, right? Does it have a VSL at the top? How is the copy broken? Is it hook, story, offer? Do they have bullet points explaining the benefits? How is the copy laid out, right? And when you start pulling the winners that you got from your research, you're gonna start to see a pattern on the websites and the successful funnels. So when you see that, it's gonna give you an idea of how you should lay out your copy for your sales pitch or your sales letter on that page, on that program that you're offering on your pitch, for your VSL or the copy itself. So once you get all these answers, you write them all down. Don't be afraid to write stuff down, okay? Even if it's not perfect, just ask the questions, answer the questions by doing your research. You can go to quota, you can go to forums, you can go to groups, you can go to all that, go to conventions, go to trade shows, and ask questions to these people that are your audience. This is how you're gonna get all the inside information. And once you answer all these questions, this is how you build your hook, story, and offer, right? And how do we do a hook, story, offer? Well, hook, story, offer is you hook them to come into your offer, what keeps you awake at night. You lay out the story, right, with the benefits and the results, and then you make the offer. And that's how I do my diagnosis and profile my audience before I write a sales letter or a funnel or put a new product out there. Guys, if you like this video, please click in the links in the description below. And if you want to keep learning about digital marketing, Facebook ads, or sales, digital sales in general, click one of the videos right above me, and I will see you guys in the next video.